That Note with Parker Whirling. Maggie FM on That Note. Thank you for joining me this morning.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, of course.
It's my first interview.
That's what you were saying before we started your first podcast.
Yeah.
I'm excited for us to be your first here at On That Note. You were recommended by C-Check, a previous On That Note guest, Kenny.
Yeah,
She's
I
awesome.
Love Kenny.
She loves to yap, and she said you also loved to yap.
I do love to yap.
So I was like, let's get her on the pod. Perfect guest. Excited to talk about your new album, all of your music coming out.
Yes.
Rust's your single, which is out now. The album Candy Lights Orchids.
Mm-hmm.
But before we get into all that, let's chat about the two albums you chose from my record collection. You chose.
I couldn't choose one.
Yeah. So why don't you tell us what you chose?
Okay, I chose "I Can Hear the Heart Beating as One" by Yo La Tengo.
Love this album.
Maybe one of the coolest American bands.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, any Yo La Tengo record I would have chosen, but this one, I love Moby Octopad, my band, Lunar Vacation. We'd play that a little bit.
Oh, really?
There was like I don't know, maybe like 2 years ago. Sometimes we just like randomly start playing it during a set because it's so fun. Return to Hot Chicken, so good. Sugar Cube, so good. I love Green Arrow, the cicadas.
Green Arrow is beautiful.
Yeah, I love Yo La Tengo so much, and I kind of never thought I'd have a chance to see them. Mm-hmm. But then when they put out their most recent record, which I also love, somehow I got to see them like 3 times in 1 year. But I was on tour with Lunar, and we were opening for this band Rubble Bucket. Have you heard of them?
No.
They're really cool. They're from where are they from? Like somewhere in Northeast, New Hampshire.
We should also say Lunar Vacation.
Yes.
You're the guitarist for Lunar Vacation.
Yeah.
In case anybody here doesn't know.
Yeah, but we were playing this venue in Pittsburgh called Mr. Smalls, and we got into Pittsburgh the night before and realized that Yo La Tengo was playing there that night. And I had the day of show contact's number just from like the advance. So I texted him. I was like, hey, do you have any spots left? Because the show was sold out. And he's like, yeah. And he put us all on the list, and we all got to go see them. And it was really awesome.
Wow.
And
this
then
was last year?
This was all the years run together.
So I know they did a tour this year with Built to Spill.
Yeah, it was before that. I guess it was 2023. Okay. Whenever that album came out. And then I saw them in Atlanta at Variety. And then I saw them this year at a festival in Salt Lake City. They played the day before Lunar played. So
okay, cool.
That was awesome too. But anyway, really inspiring band. I feel like they just do whatever they want to do.
Yeah. I
know they record themselves a lot, and yeah, just great music. They don't really give an F.
No, they don't give an F. That album too is like, there's a few albums that are favorites now of mine that really took me a minute to get into, and that was one of them. And once I got into that, the Yo La Tengo world opened up.
Yeah.
But to be honest, I guess I say the world opened up. That one and Electro Pura.
Yes,
are
I saw
the
you
two.
Have that one
yeah,
too.
the two I really love, which I think is probably the main two people know.
Yeah.
Although I don't know, they have a lot of.
Their new one is so good.
Yeah, I need to really give that one a
it's
listen.
It's really good.
I like the album cover.
Some of my favorite albums are I think albums that end up being my favorites are the ones that take me a second to like, you know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because it kind of makes you. It's have to come back.
Yes.
And then you have a different appreciation for it.
You can't just like listen once and then not listen again, even if you don't like it the first time.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah. But anyway, this is a band that did not happen with. The War on Drugs. This is kind of like my high school band. I feel like when I first started playing guitar, we were talking about Kurt Weill before. Yeah. I was listening to a lot of Kurt Weill, which means I was listening to a lot of the War on Drugs because that was like the same time period, like 2015, 2016. So that's when I really started getting into like, I guess like finding my own way of playing guitar. And yeah, I just feel like, I don't know if this is like a kind of standard pick, but I just love this album so much. It's like so dreamy, and Under the Pressure is such a good song. It's literally 9 minutes long. They also have a great KXP from this album cycle.
Oh, cool.
I don't know if it's this one or another one, but Cheryl Waters, the KEXP host, like starts crying.
My queen.
Yeah, she
love Cheryl.
They like cut to her and she's crying when they're playing, which I love
awesome.
so
She's
much.
a national treasure.
Yeah, truly. But yeah, I just really, I don't know. I feel like the War on Drugs have kind of turned into a dad band, which I love dad bands.
Totally.
Honestly, it's like kind of what I grew up listening to. But yeah, I just feel like these songs will always be special, and I feel like every song on this album is really, really great. So
a lot of long songs on that one, which is interesting.
A long song.
I love. Is there Red Eyes? Is that one?
Yes. Track 2.
I'll be honest, I haven't listened to it in a while.
Eyes
that
to
was
the
kind
Wind
of
is really good too.
Which one?
Eyes to the Wind.
Eyes to the Wind.
Yeah.
I listened to that a lot right after I graduated high school.
Okay, nice.
I remember hearing the first one you said.
Yeah,
Under the Pressure on some like college radio XM station.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, this is really cool.
Yeah.
And then I got into that album because of that.
Yeah.
But I don't listen to it as much lately.
Yeah, me neither, honestly.
But it's sick. Yeah, it takes me back when I do hear one of
exactly.
those songs.
I feel like I never want to like turn it off when it's on, but it's kind of one of those things. It's like I listened to it so many times when it came out that it's like cemented in my brain. You know,
that's awesome.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Well, great picks.
Thank you.
I want to get into obviously your album, but I'm curious. You know, you've been in Lunar Vacation for a long time. You started your musical career in 2016. You know, with Lunar, you've been making albums, you released 2 albums, you've been touring, you do all that stuff, but why now you chose to do a solo record? Why now? And why Rusts as the single?
Well, I think I was content with maybe never putting out my own music. It's something that I've been making my own songs, I mean, like here and there, but really in like 2019, because I was like a sophomore in college. That's when Lunar just had kind of started really touring. And I would just come home and like make little songs, and I'd send them to like 5 people, and then I would be content with that. I was never like imagining a project or anything. Just because I feel like I do feel so like satisfied with Lunar. It's not like I was like, oh, I need an outlet or anything, you know? But I guess when we all moved into a house down the street from here in Decatur, we lived there for 3 years together. We moved in 2022, and our bassist Ben, who had been living in New York, and now he just moved back to New York, but he lived with us for 3 years here. And at the time he was building his own studio and stuff, called Hummingbird Recordings, which Lunar just finished or almost finished recording our new record there. So
Whoa.
Very exciting. Yeah, but Ben has just been like acquiring all this gear, and I would sometimes, like, you know, on a random Monday, if we weren't working, we'd like sit down and make some songs together or whatever, just like in the living room, just for fun. And Ben like kind of started just being like, I really want to work on your songs. And I was like, whatever, you know. And I knew I didn't really want to like do it in Atlanta. If I did do it, I wanted to kind of make it like a trip out of it. And my boyfriend Rand, who's also a musician, he's in the band The Slaps, who are amazing. His parents live in Lexington, Kentucky, kind of out on these like near these horse farms. So just out in the country on a beautiful piece of land. They were going out of town for like 10 days, and they asked Rand and I to dog sit. And they live in this old schoolhouse, and their living room has like log cabin. Yeah, it's like
Whoa.
So amazing. And Rand's mom, Cynthia, is an artist, and her paintings are everywhere. It's like a gallery, and his dad is a gardener, so they have a huge garden. It's just magical. But I was like, okay, this could be the perfect time to go record, because Ben and I had kind of talked about like going to a cabin or something, but obviously that costs money. So we had this opportunity to go. And so Rand and I went up there, and then Ben and Mateo, who's in Lunar, he plays keys in Lunar, but he's also a great drummer. So they drove up later and brought a bunch of gear, and we set up in Rand's parents' living room, and we made the album in basically like 3.5 days.
Wow.
10 songs. Yeah. which is kind of insane. I tried not to have like, I had at that time accumulated like a bunch of songs that had been like 6 years of songs that we kind of just combed through. And before we left, Ben and I sat down and we're like, okay, we definitely want to do this one. We definitely want to do this one. And then, yeah, just like a lot of live tracking, and somehow we got it all done in 3.5 days.
That's
yeah,
crazy.
it is crazy.
I was thinking 10 days like might not be enough.
Yeah. Well, for some, like I feel like for this project, which honestly, the next time I make an album, 3.5 days will probably not be enough. But it just like happened. I mean, a lot of it, there's some songs that are just like piano or just guitar and vocals. So, and we just did it in like one live recording and then moved on. But
were you doing a lot of everybody together playing?
Yeah, a lot of like Ben and Mateo tracking together. Like I would do a scratch guitar, or the three of us would track like guitar, drums, bass at one time, and then I'd do vocals. But yeah, there's a few songs that are like maybe like 3 or 4 songs that are just like everyone at once tracking all together. The last song in the album, Off to the Spoon, which might be my favorite, was just like one take, and that was it.
Wow.
So
yeah, that one I that makes sense. For sure.
Yeah,
it kind of feels in the moment.
Yeah. So
what about the first song, the first one,
Howard's House?
Yeah, yes. That one is such a crazy tune. And talk about a song where the more you come back to it, the more I'm like, what is going on? The first time I'm like, this is kind of weird, like cool, but a little strange. And then now I've listened to it maybe 4 or 5 times. I'm like, this is sick, but I still don't really know what's happening.
Yeah. That was actually the first song that I wrote that I liked kind of ever. I wrote that right after we got home from a tour in 2019 with the Slaps, actually. And it was like Lunar's first time going out west, and it was just kind of this like huge formative experience. And then I came home, and then I had to start college, and I was just like, but I wrote that song. Actually, my favorite lyric from it is, I'm wearing all my weird clothes because I packed everything. That's a text that my friend Christine had sent me. She was moving to Florida, and she was coming to hang out, and she's like, I'm wearing my weird clothes because I packed all my clothes. Which a lot of my songs are just like taken from things my friends said. But yeah, so I made that kind of like a folk song, and then maybe a year later, I made an instrumental version with the same chords, with like just on GarageBand with like delayed drums, and just kind of like added all those kind of guitar parts that ended up on there. And that stuck around for a really long time. And so I knew I wanted to put it on the album because I just always liked it. But yeah, that one is definitely weird.
It's so cool though.
Yeah.
It's a great way to start
the album it also kind of like, I feel like the rest of the album doesn't really sound like that. Like maybe there's some elements that do, but it's kind of like, I don't know. It's probably like the least like folky song, even though it started that way. But yeah, I had a lot of fun tracking all the guitar on that song.
Yeah, I love the little bells.
Yes, yeah. Mateo is like the king of percussion. And
nice.
We had like, there was an old, I think it was Rand's like baby rattle was sitting around in the living room. So we used that on a few songs too.
Oh, cool. Yeah, percussion will really take a song and like elevate it to a weird level that you wouldn't imagine.
Yeah, sometimes you're like, this song sucks, and then you add a shaker and it's like wow,
wait a
now
second.
This is a hit.
So you produced it with Ben Wilkin.
Yes.
What was the production chemistry like? What was it like working with him on the production side? And in general, what do you think makes a good partner when it comes to a producing partner? Yeah.
Well, Ben and I we've been friends for so long. And before he was even in our band, we went to high school together. And we just always, I don't know, I feel like we've always really trusted each other. And he makes a lot of different kind of music. He's worked on like indie records, but his own music, he makes like really sick electronic music called Hack, which is really awesome. The A is a 4H4CK Hack. But
H4CK.
Yeah. But I think just because of that, he's always into so many types of music. That just makes him trustworthy, because he's so open-minded. But yeah, in terms of this record, like I said, I probably would have like never made it if Ben wasn't like, let's do it, you know? So yeah,
he kind of gave you that push.
Yeah, he gave me the push and like pointed out songs that he liked that I thought, oh, like maybe that isn't good or whatever. But yeah, I can't remember like song by song, but
yeah. Was he like that in general when you were actually making the record? Was he able to push things to the finish line, or
yes,
was it?
For sure. Just like getting it done. And yeah, I don't know how we made it so fast, but we just did.
Yeah.
And we didn't like, I think we were all kind of into the idea of like, we're not going to really labor over parts or anything. Like Rand would be like cooking in the kitchen and then he'd be like, oh, I have an idea. And he'd sit down and like play like on Rust's, the guitar on that is Rand, which I love. But it was just kind of like, if someone has an idea, do it. If not, we're going to move on to the next thing, you know? Because we knew we had a limited time period anyway. But yeah, Ben is just really creative and really open. And I think that's what makes the best partner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And a good hang. Somebody
Great
you've known
hang.
for a long time.
Yeah, totally. And it was really fun. We had all been to Rand's parents' house before. We stay there on tour a lot because it's like on the way to Chicago. But it was fun to just be there. It was like 6 degrees outside the entire time. The entire time everything is covered in snow, so just like white outside.
Wow. And
we had like a wood burning stove in the living room, so we were just like, you know, putting wood in there and hanging out. It was really cozy.
Yeah, that's
we couldn't
like
really do
moments
anything
you
else.
dream of.
Yeah, actually,
the kind of environment you want to make an album
I'm
in.
so blessed that we got that opportunity. But yeah, so it was kind of like we had no choice but to record all day because you couldn't really go outside.
What else are you gonna do?
Yeah.
Yeah. What was the pre-talk like? Did you have a vision ahead of time of what you wanted, and you guys kind of hashed it out together, or was it pretty go with the flow?
Yeah, it was pretty go with the flow. We like chose the songs we wanted to do, but like in terms of like Rust's, the day we recorded that, I was like, can we make it sound like an REM song? And then that's why we ended up doing it. It wasn't like a lot. I think it was kind of like song by song. Yeah, but I think inevitably there was going to be some psychedelic elements because like that's just how I like to play guitar. And that's like kind of a shared thing we have from playing in Lunar is just like, you know, making things like dreamy or trippy every once in a while. But a lot of them are like folk songs. Like they're not pop songs, you know, which I think is the main difference from making a Lunar record is like Gep writes like pop songs and that's why they're so good. And I don't really do that, you know? So it was kind of just like, you know, we don't need to make these songs like super catchy or anything.
Yeah.
Was
that kind of freeing?
I guess so.
Or did it just feel more natural? You
was
didn't
just
really
like,
think about it?
Yeah, just different. I mean, it's always a good challenge. I feel like my natural songwriting, like I said, is not pop music. So like when I do work on pop songs, it's like a really fun challenge, especially to make it like, you know, fit into the context of our band. But yeah, I guess it was freeing in a way of just like, I can't believe I'm working on these songs with other people because I just always made them on my own and then sent them off and then whatever, you know, I was never like, oh, I really need to like work on this or play this. So yeah.
Did you ever have any moments where it was scary to show them or scary to work on them with other people knowing like they've lived in your head for so long?
Yeah, I think I was anxious like just in general leading up to it. And I was just like, I never like recorded vocals and like I was just worried about that, but it all came about like so easily. Like Ben never pushed me to like, he wasn't like, you're flat, you need to do that again. It was kind of just like, I do a few takes, I know, which, you know, it happens, but and there's definitely some things when I listen back, I'm like, oh, I kind of wish I recorded that again, but it's fine. Cause we just, it's just like a capsule, a time capsule. And that's just what it's going to be, you know?
What were some of the lessons that you learned over the years of being in a touring indie band that you think really helped with creating this album?
I think just like don't have a bad time when you're recording. I think you know, don't stress out so much that you look back at the experience and it was like, that wasn't fun, you know? In terms of like playing shows and like being a local band again, because I feel like, I mean, Lunar will also always be a local band, but we're more of like a touring band now. So restarting as like, okay, I'm like starting a project from the ground up and I'm going to like play shows that I want to play. Kind of just the same thing. Like, don't do anything that you don't want to do, because I mean, it's not like my life is riding on this one project. So it's like, just might as well make it fun, you know?
Yeah.
It's not like I have like a record deal, or like I already have a part-time job, so I might as well make this like the most fun it can be and kind of make it an escape instead of making it like a job that I don't want to do, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So were there times like where you were stressed about making an album and you're like, this kind of sucks? I don't even really want to be doing this.
One day when we were recording where Ben had a migraine and that's why it was 3.5 days. I think we had 5 days planned, but Ben was kind of out for an entire day. And Mateo and I were like, okay, let's try to like work on something anyway. And so that song, No Kiddin', we worked on, and the demo of that song is like, I kind of have like more guitar parts and it's bigger sounding. And so Mateo and I like tried to sit down and record an arrangement while Ben was like resting. And we were like, it just kind of started hitting a dead end. And then I was like, ugh, what are we doing? We're like wasting time. We don't have a lot of time. And then Ben like woke up and felt better. And this was at like 8 p.m. And he came downstairs and he's like, this is cool. Like, let's just do it vocals and piano. And so we just did that. And yeah, it's funny because like when I've sent my friends the album, they like love that song. And that's the song where I'm like, it feels like a Muppet song or something. Which I do love the Muppets.
Totally.
But yeah. But we've been playing that song like full band live, which I really like. But yeah, that was like a time where I'm like, we're just like wasting an entire day. But it ended up not being that way, you know?
Yeah, sometimes it feels in the moment like time is slowed down.
Yeah.
And you're just banging your head against the wall.
Yes.
And then it only takes one element or one person coming in.
Yeah.
And be like, oh, actually, this is cool. We could do it this way. And then you're like, oh, yeah, that was right there the whole time.
Exactly. Yeah. I think roadblocks are like necessary. You know?
What's your mentality when you hit a roadblock? Like, what do you try to do? Yeah. Do you try to like take a break? Do you try to hit it head on?
It's so hard because I feel like being in a band for so long, like we hit so many roadblocks, and you'd think I'd learn by now like a good way to deal with it. And I feel like even if you take a break or if you try to work through it, either way, it's just going to feel shitty for a while. Yeah. But then you somehow get through it. I don't know. I feel like it's different every time, and when you think you figured it out, then it doesn't work that time, and you just have to I think just like patience.
Like, let me do what I did last time, and that's not the key.
Exactly. Yeah.
I was just in Nashville recording with my friend Beaton, who's been on the pod, and we had our first real almost a whole day of being like, I don't know what we're doing. And it sucks. Like it really sucks to feel like you can't find the right thing. And then eventually we had he sat me down. He was like, hey man, in the nicest way possible, was basically like, I think maybe you're being a little close-minded about where these songs can go. And I was like, fuck, I guess you're right. Like I feel, and then I felt bad, and he was like, you don't need to feel bad. But you just have an idea of where you think these things should go or how they should sound. Yeah. And he's like, we can undo anything we do. Yeah. Let's just try some new stuff. Yeah. Let's see what happens. We don't need to be too precious with it. Yeah. And then after that talk, within 2 hours, this song had emerged out of nowhere. And
it's the best feeling.
Yeah. Yeah. It really is a relief.
Yeah. I feel like because I've been in Lunar for almost 10, next year will be 10 years. we've had like entire weeks of recording where we're like, it's a roadblock, you know,
Yeah.
like we'll finish fully finish a song and then be like, we're not putting that out, you know? And so it's like, yeah, you think that you learn how to deal with them, but sometimes they just get even longer and the path gets blurrier. But yeah, you always make it through. And I feel like that's what, if you just know, like, you know, somehow we're gonna either we don't have to put it out or we'll figure something out until we like it. And it's just like, yeah, I just gotta keep going, unfortunately.
Yeah. What's it like being in a band for almost 10 years now? That's longer than some marriages.
I know.
That's a long commitment.
It's crazy. Yeah, it's like so wild. And when I see photos or just like think of things that happened like 7-8 years ago, I'm like, that feels like a lifetime ago. But in a way, I feel like we're still so new, you know? Like we just finished or are almost finished with our new record, and it's like, wow, I kind of feel like a baby again, you know?
Mm-hmm.
But it's crazy, like, you know, it's really just how do you make like lasting friendships, you know? Because you have to want to be around these people like pretty constantly, especially we lived together and toured together at the same time.
Yeah,
which is like that had to end, but we would go on tour for a month and then come home and all still be together. And so we only had like one bathroom and it was just like insane.
One bathroom,
but it was fun. Like I was looking at photos this morning, I'm like, oh, I kind of miss that. But yeah, I think just it's wild, but it's really, I feel like I'm learning so much every day still from it. So
yeah, just like a marriage.
Yeah, it really is like you're married to 4 other people.
Yeah. What's something that somebody might not know about being in a band like that or having an experience like that? Because I think a lot of people who listen to this pod or even come on this pod typically are either solo artists or just are playing music, and I have varying levels of people with different experience on here.
Yeah.
And I'd say you're in the higher end of like someone who's been in a pretty, in my eyes, successful indie band and tours a lot and opens for cool people and goes on great headlining shows. So what's something somebody might not know about what it's like being in a band like that?
I don't know. I think sometimes people are surprised that I have to have another job,
Yeah.
But it's cool. It's gotten to the point where like Lunar, it's like my full-time job, but it kind of only pays like a part-time job. So I need another part-time job. But I think people are like, oh, you're like going on tour and you're playing like a cool festival. And it's like, you're a rock star. But it's like, yeah, I still have to pay my rent. And it pays some of the rent, but yeah, I think just like, I don't know, it's kind of a constant, you never really take a break from it. Even like we're kind of in a downtime period, like we're not touring right now because we're recording, and it's kind of just like something you have to pick away at every day. And I don't really know. I don't know what people don't know.
Yeah, I think that's probably,
that
was kind of the answer I was thinking, just because a lot of people don't know how much or how little money you make. Just
I don't know
music.
how much other artists make too. Like, I mean, when you're a solo artist, you make more money because we split everything, you know. But it's also really fun to be in a band. So it's like okay if you're making less money because you're doing it with your friends,
with your homies. Yeah.
But yeah, I'm always interested in how other people like, I'm like, meet other people on tour, and it's like some people have like coding jobs, which I don't know if that even exists anymore, but or someone has family money, and it's just like you just never know how people are able, or they have a really good record deal that isn't announced yet. It's just, I'm always curious on how other people are making it work, because being a touring musician is really, really special, but really it's like a difficult dance of constantly being available to take good opportunities when they come up, but also like you just need to find a job that's flexible enough to where you can be like, I'm leaving for 2 months, and then when I come back, I'm gonna need to work like every day, you know.
Yeah.
Which thankfully it's taken me a long time, but I've kind of found a job like that now.
Cool.
I've been working farmers markets, so that's what I'm doing after this.
Oh,
yeah,
cool.
sell Georgia produce. So
Nice.
right now I'm selling apples, but in the summer we sell peaches, which is really crazy.
That's such a sweet, wholesome gig.
Yeah, I know. I feel like I've had a lot of those. Like worked at a record store.
That's a classic.
Worked at an ice cream shop. Now I'm working at a farmer's market. But
selling like produce by day and rocking out by night.
Yeah, so that's been good, but you know, it's still a job and I'd still rather be on tour.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
And there's so many ways you can make it work. You don't have to pigeonhole yourself, and you can get creative. Like my ideal situation is like how Joe does it. You know, Joe Keery, just make it on a fucking TV show that is gigantic and you never have to worry about doing that again, and then you can just play music all the time and use all that money to fund that.
I know, it seems like it's worked out pretty well for him.
Yeah, for real. Have you seen him?
I haven't, but my friend Chris, I was gonna see him last week, but then I ended up going to Paris. Did you go to that show?
I did, yeah.
Okay, my friend Christine went and said it was awesome.
It was great.
Yeah.
I didn't know what to expect. Like, I am a big fan of his. Yeah. But seeing him live, I was like, oh wow, he's a showman. Yeah. They put on a real show that I wasn't ready for, I guess. And
Post Animal opened, right? Yeah. So the Slaps, my boyfriend's band, are opening for Post Animal. They're coming. Yeah, they're coming to Atlanta sometime in November.
Oh, cool.
But yeah.
What venue?
I think the Earl.
Nice.
Yeah.
I'm surprised.
But they're good.
Post Animal isn't playing a slightly bigger.
I know, they're like selling out all of their shows, so I think it's one of those deals.
I got you. Yeah. Like catch them now before they play a.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, but they're a cool band too.
Nice. Shout out the Slaps.
Yeah.
One more question before we go to the last 5. I'm just curious. You know, now that you've made these songs, you've made this whole debut album, what do you think is some unexplored territory that you would like to go into for future releases? I have a lot of fun making, like, I feel like when my friends and I jam, we end up making like dance songs, and I don't know, I think it'd be fun to make some dance songs, just kind of like more like B-52 style, you know, kind of dance songs, not like, you know, club bangers. But yeah, I feel like that's what I like naturally, like that's a fun thing. I don't know. The album that I just made is like kind of silly, and I like making silly songs, like, and I like reading fairy tales, and I just kind of like the whimsical, I don't know. I like songs that make people laugh. So maybe some more funny songs. Yeah. B-52s have like a humor to them.
Totally. Yeah, they're freaking awesome.
Yeah, shout out.
Yeah.
You ever go to Athens much?
Yeah, yes and no. Like, Lunar made our last record there. That's probably the most. We like
where
at Chase Park with Drew.
Yeah.
You've had Drew on.
Drew Vandenberg?
Yes.
Yeah. No, you did your research.
I love Drew.
That's one of the more popular interviews.
Yeah.
Was that one with him. He's the man.
He's the man. I love him so much. But so we spent some time there. I really grew up, like, my dad went to UGA in the 80s, so that's my foundation of
real
music
REM
is
heads.
like REM, Love Tractor, Pylon, B-52s, and then my parents are spread heads, so Widespread Panic, which I don't really listen to, but
me either.
You know, I grew up listening to a bunch of Athens music, so I feel like I have a very deep appreciation for Athens.
Cool.
And yeah, that's the music that kind of like pulls on my heartstrings, you know?
Yeah.
Just like childhood memories. But yeah, I did see the B-52s, and I have to say, wow, it was underwhelming.
Underwhelming?
Which is sad because I love them, but maybe it was a bad night. It was just their band wasn't very good.
That sucks.
Yeah.
Dang.
But all love to them.
Yeah. I mean, you know, they're a little older.
Yeah.
I feel like their music has this youth that's probably just hard to
They're
recreate.
still fun, and they're all like singing and in fun clothes, but I feel like they're like on the recordings, the band is so tight and has such good style, and I feel like maybe they need to find some people that play that way. But I also spent like $50 on a t-shirt, which I shouldn't have done. But I'm glad. I also, seeing older rock shows is kind of a gamble. But so I saw them, and then later I saw Neil Young, and it was like one of the best experiences of my life. Cool. I
feel myself creeping into a Neil Young phase. Ugh. I've never had one. And my gosh. I'm ready to slip into it.
I'm going to, after this is over, give you so many albums to listen to. He's like my goat.
Wow, okay.
I love him so much. But yeah, I feel like I got to see him, and I went with my friend Violet and with Rand. We drove to Huntsville and saw him on like a Thursday, and we had pit ticket. Violet had a free pit ticket for me, and I bought one for Rand so he could come, and we were like this far away from him, and it was insane. He was playing with Crazy Horse too, which is his band. They were also playing like a lot slower, but it was cool. They're like in their 80s, rocking out.
Still rocking it.
So sick. So that was really inspiring. It was kind of unreal to be that close. And he was playing songs that he was like, I wrote this song in high school, and then played it. And it's like, that is so crazy. But
that is crazy to be in your 80s and playing songs you wrote when you were 17.
Yeah, but he's so awesome.
Yeah, shout out. Shout out Neil Young. All right, Maggie, why don't we take this over to the last 5? Okay. We're just going to pick 5 questions from this bowl. I'll kind of mix it around a little bit.
Okay.
And then we'll be all wrapped up. All right, here you go.
Pick this one.
Number 1.
Best worst decade of music.
That's a tough one to start.
It is so hard.
That one will ruffle some feathers.
Okay. I feel like immediately my mind goes to the 80s, but there's also so much 80s music that I love.
Yeah.
I love
for
early
worst?
2000s. Yeah, for worst.
Yeah,
Maybe like but I'm like thinking more recently, like the 2010s. There's also so many good albums. Maybe I don't know like 30s music that well. I'm trying to think.
I think the cheat answer is to say anything before the 50s.
Yeah, but there's also amazing music before I'm gonna go with maybe the 2010s, but also for worst.
For worst?
But also maybe the best. I don't know. I need to veto this question. There's just good music all the time.
Yeah, I mean, there's no right answer because as soon as you were like, that one's the worst, you'll think about an album
I was going to say 80s, but like, I like love Dire Straits. I love R.E.M.
Tears for Fears.
There's so much good 80s music. Obviously not 70s. 70s might be maybe one of the best, but also I love like early 2000s music.
Yeah.
Honestly, I might do early 2000s music for best just because even the pop songs then were so good.
I was just talking about this.
Yeah, like early Coldplay and stuff. Like that was what was on the radio.
I was thinking like really Fergie.
Yeah, yeah.
Clumsy, that song I listened to the other day. That song's awesome.
Good. But I mean, I don't know. That's a hard
Nelly
question.
Furtado, like all those.
Yeah. In terms of like pop music, like radio hits, I think it's hard to say 2010s because like those songs are nostalgic too. Like, Dynamite by Tayo Cruz. And, like, those like huge songs.
I guess, probably like early 2010s.
But even then I'm like, those songs are good.
Jason Derulo.
Yeah. But also bangers. It's kind of hard for me to hate on any music, honestly.
Yeah.
But I feel like maybe an underrated decade of pop music is the 2000s.
Yeah. Agreed. All right. Yeah. Well, let's take it over to number 2.
Okay.
What do we got?
We got, what kind of food would your music be? Probably ice cream.
Yeah.
That's easy.
That's the second time you mentioned. Well, I guess you worked at an ice cream
shop. I just love ice cream.
Yeah.
Soft serve.
Good answer.
Soft serve ice cream. That's what I'm going to go with.
You didn't even have to think about that one.
I know. I needed, after the last question, I had to make it easy. Okay. Number 3.
Well, they don't have to be fast, by the way.
Unexpected musical influence. maybe I mean, I just said Dire Straits. I love Dire Straits.
Yeah.
I love Bob Marley. I think Bob Marley is like, I'm obviously never going to get to that feeling in music, but that is like the best feeling music to me. And yeah, I don't know like if his music has like directly influenced my music, but that's just like the music I love the most.
Wow.
Yeah. Bob Marley, Neil Young, just a bunch of men. This album actually, like, I think an album that really inspired me when I was making my album, made me feel like I could say like weird shit and it didn't matter, was the first Joanna Newsom record.
Yeah. I've yet to get into her.
You should that one's my favorite. I mean, she makes some crazy albums, but the first one is so good, and just like it's a lot of just her and a harp, or her and like a harpsichord, and just like her lyrics are so whimsical, and I feel like that really inspired me to be like, oh, I can kind of like, and sometimes she kind of sounds like a kid, you know, when she's singing, which I feel like maybe turns some people.
Yeah, between the harpsichord whimsical lyrics and then
she sounds
her
like
voice,
a little boy or something.
Yeah, I'm like, what?
But I love that. But yeah, I think it just kind of made me be like, wow, I can really like the last song on my album, Mop to the Spoon, I feel like is kind of Joanna Newsom vibes. Which that just like saying random shit challenge.
Yeah. All
okay,
right.
yeah. So that was a lot of people, but okay. Dream 3-band bill. Like with me on it or anyone?
It's up to you. Usually I think about it like who you want to see.
You'd want to see, yeah. I don't want to be there. I don't want to be playing. I want to be watching.
You want to take it in.
Yeah. Okay, let me think of like current bands. Definitely the Slaps. I love seeing the Slaps.
Sweet.
God, there's so many good bands in the world. This band, have you heard of Mapache?
No.
They're like one of my favorite shows I've ever seen. I've seen them at the Earl once, and it was awesome. They're from Southern California. It's like two guys, and they harmonize really beautifully. I found them because they were in a Grateful Dead cover band called Grateful Shred, which is really the best Grateful Dead cover band. But they have their own project called Mapache, which is really good. So I'd like to see them again. I'm just like thinking of all the bands that I'm friends with, and I want them all to be on the bill, you know?
Yeah, that's sweet. Usually people are like, Radiohead, Paul McCartney.
I'm just trying to think of the like really, really good shows that I've seen.
It's a pretty endless list.
It's endless. I would love to see Neil Young again. Yeah. But we just toured with a lot of bands this year. There's this band Sour Widows out of San Francisco that are really cool, and we toured with this girl Tasha, who was so beautiful. Just like there's so much beautiful music. It's so hard for me to narrow it down.
Well, I hope you don't get the hot take question in here.
I really hope I don't. I bet Kenny got a good. Kenny has a lot. I don't know if hot takes.
I can't remember if she. Actually, I think she did, because she was like the Alex G album, God Save the Animals, sucks.
Oh.
I was like, oh, no.
Not my favorite Alex G album either.
Oh, you and Kenny
but there's some good songs on it.
Yeah, that's maybe my favorite.
Yeah, that song Miracles is really good.
Yeah, okay. Absolutely.
I hope this isn't the hot take question. Dream artist / producer to work with. I mean, I love working with Ben. I always say, like, it's not my dream to work with Jack Antonoff, but I think it'd be fun. Yeah. To just see, because he's made so many pop songs, and, like, I feel like it would just be fun to see what it would be like to work with someone like him, but I'm not, like, dying. That's not really my dream. Maybe... I feel like I'm not giving good answers, because there's so many things that I love. Dream artist, producer to work with.
Because it could even be like a collab.
Yeah. Let me think. Oh, well, okay. I just want to talk about this album, so I'm going to say this. But there's this girl, Joanne Robertson. Have you heard of her?
I don't think so.
She just put out this album called Blur. She makes like ambient folk music. But her new album, it's one of those things, the first time I listened to it, I was like, okay, whatever, you know? And then my friends were really into it, and I was like, okay, I'm going to listen again. And then I was just like hooked. So I think I'd like to work with her just to like see, because her music is really magical sounding. It's kind of like nothing I've heard before, and it's really captivating. So I think it'd be cool to just, yeah.
Joanne Robertson.
Joanne
Robertson.
Robertson.
Still on Joanna Newsom.
I know. Yeah, but her new album is really cool. So
sweet.
She's worked a lot with Dean Blunt. Do you know Dean Blunt? Yeah.
That's somebody I want to get into.
Yeah.
Because people really like. There's a lot of people who worship him.
Yeah, I've actually not listened to him as much as Joanne Robertson, but that's like where I feel like people have probably heard her voice before.
He seems to be like one of those shadowy figures.
Very
who's just
elusive.
Have no idea like who he is or who he's worked with, but people really love him.
Yeah. I really appreciate that side of the music industry right now. Like people dropping music with like an iPhone photo as the cover, and just like I really like that, because I feel like being in, you know, the kind of like industry for a long time is you're just, you know, everything's so strategic, or people want it to be strategic, and I really admire people who just like drop music and move on.
It's refreshing.
It's really refreshing. Yeah.
When it works and you're like, thank God that this is still a possibility.
Yes.
And not everything has to have like a campaign around it.
Totally. And like you don't have to build like a narrative. It's just like the music is just, and I know it's like a lot harder for that kind of music to find people, because it's not being, there's no like press around it, I guess. But I really appreciate that. I guess another person I would want to work with, another album I just want to shout out, another like elusive person, is H. Hunt. I don't know if it's like, I don't know who that is at all, but there's this album called Playing Piano for Dad, and it's like a jazz piano album. And the story behind it that I've read, it's on this album. It's either, I think it's called Tasty Morsels. They're out of the UK, I think. They put out a lot of cool music. Most of the artists are pretty like elusive, but I somehow got a pressing of this record on vinyl, and it's like my favorite thing to have on my record player. But it's just piano. Apparently H. Hunt, whoever that is, their dad didn't know that they could play piano. I think they have another project. And so they went to this studio in Paris and just recorded it. So I saw you have a Bill Evans record.
Oh yeah.
I think you would like, cause I listen to a lot of Bill Evans, but I think you would like that album.
But it's called Playing Piano for Dad.
Yeah.
And it's a cool story.
And it's a beautiful album. I mean, it's literally just piano, and you can like kind of hear the keys. The room is mic'd, I'm guessing. Yeah. But that would be cool to just meet them, and I don't know. Those are just two albums that I really admire, and I also like don't really know the people behind them. So, yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah.
That is cool when you have no real understanding of like who's behind the music, and you can just appreciate the music itself.
Yeah. Which I feel like we're kind of getting to a place where that's happening a lot, which I like.
Yeah, there's a lot of like hyper pop adjacent stuff where the name of someone is like 8 numbers.
Yeah.
And you're just like, oh, but this is cool though. Or you can't pronounce it.
Yeah.
And all the photos are like some cracked out Sonic the Hedgehog.
Yeah.
Like, fucking
meme. I'm into that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is interesting. It's hard to like get into for me sometimes because it feels so unintentional. Yeah. But maybe that's just
at the same time, I also love albums that are like heavily marketed and like very like the new Wednesday album. I feel like it gets so much press, but I think it's so good. I really like that. And like Geese.
Oh, Geese.
Yeah.
And I could do another 30 minutes on Geese.
I know, which I feel like they're already becoming controversial because they get so much press that people are hating on it. But actually, when I made my album in January is like right when the Cameron Winter album came out.
Oh, wow.
And Yeah, I had listened to the last Geese album a little bit, and then so that was actually the Cameron Winter album was the only album I was listening to while I was making my album.
Whoa.
Just like walking around in the snow. It was another thing where I was like trying to understand it. Like I knew I liked it, but I didn't know why, you know?
Keeps you coming back.
Yeah, totally. But yeah, I wish I had tickets to see them.
Me too. I don't know one person.
Yeah.
Everyone who's like, "Are you going?" I'm like,
Yeah,
no.
no.
And they're like, "I'm not either."
Yeah.
I'm like, damn, like, who's going to the show?
I know. I'm going to try to wiggle my way in somehow.
I might check on the day of and see if anybody's selling a ticket because they can't go or something.
Yeah.
But I'm just surprised they haven't bumped them up to a different venue because
I think it's
everybody
like,
I know who wants to go has not gotten a ticket.
But I think the strategy, maybe, this is just my guess, is because they've sold out all these small things, they can come back and play another show on the same album tour. Yeah. At a bigger venue and probably sell that out too.
Probably.
You know?
Yeah.
But yeah, we actually played a showcase with them at South by like in 2022.
Whoa.
And now I think about that, I'm like, wow, it's like something I'm going to tell my kids. Like, I got to talk to them for like 1 second.
How were they? They
were great. It was on their first album, so
yeah.
I mean, they're young. They're like 20. I mean, they're like a little bit younger than me. Yeah. 23 or something. But at the time, that was 2022, so they were like 19, 20.
Insane.
Yeah. Wow. But yeah, they rip. They're great.
Cameron Winter's awesome.
Yeah, I'm glad that so many people like that kind of music. It's interesting. Yeah, it's
interesting they blow it up.
Yeah, and
the album is weird.
Yeah, which I appreciate that so many people are into it, you know. Totally. Yeah, like I understand that press can get annoying to people, but I'm like lit that people like that kind of music.
Yeah, I'm with you on that as well.
Yeah.
All right, well, Maggie FM, thank you for coming on the pod. That's going to do it for us for On That Note. I'm excited for everybody to listen to your new album, Candy Lights Orchids. Yes. Check out Rust's out now, the first single. Mm-hmm. I appreciate you coming on, and we'll do it again sometime.
Thank you for having me.
On That Note with Parker Whirling.